Hello, our group is the automated mattress tilter that redistributes pressure to reduce bed sores. And I'm Carina.
My name's Hope.
And I'm Bryant.
So our team decided to tackle the problem of pressure sores. So this is a pressure sore overview. Pressure sores, also known as bed sores or pressure ulcers, are areas of damaged skin caused by staying in one position for too long. As you can see from the image on the top, the earlier stages of pressure sores are not severe. But if left untreated, severe and even fatal consequences can take place. As shown in the later stages of pressure sores, it can cause severe tissue death that can go very deep, enough to reach bone. A more technical term to describe the process of pressure sore formation is called tissue necrosis, which basically just means death of tissue due to failure of blood supply. Pressure sores are more typical in parts of the body that are over bony areas, such as the heel, shoulder, and lower back and buttocks area, seen in the image at the bottom. This means that moreover, the intensity and length of pressure that can cause a pressure sore is influenced by the person's tissue tolerance, which just simply defines as the intensity and length of pressure a person can tolerate. This means that a higher tissue tolerance correlates to a lower chances of tissue necrosis and vice versa. Tissue tolerance is affected by many different extrinsic and intrinsic factors. Extrinsic factors include moisture, friction, shear and pinch on the skin, and underlying tissue. Intrinsic factors include nutrition, the physiological effects of stress, aging, and alterations in cellular respiration. We were able to interview an individual with a C5 to C6 spinal cord injury. This injury has left him immobile from the waist down and prone to pressure sores. They explained that pressure sores are deadly to them because they would not be able to feel the pressure sore forming and treatment cannot be started. This means that there's a huge need for consistent checkup for pressure sore formation and consistent pressure sore relief. The process of checking for pressure sores include taking photos of his body and visually inspecting for the formation of pressure sores. And how to avoid pressure sores or pressure sore relief is first being self-aware of long periods of time when sitting or laying down, and then doing pressure reliefs, meaning moving positions to redistribute pressure. After our interview, we were able to formulate our user needs chart. The more notable needs that we formulated are the first two, which says that the device needs to prevent self-injury from wrinkled surfaces and that the device needs to prevent self-injury from hard surfaces.
So from these user needs, we create our hypothesis, which states that we hypothesize that our device, a bed that imitates a caregiver moving the patient every 2 to 4 hours by mechanically tilting the patient vertically and horizontally to redistribute pressure, will aid in the prevention of pressure sores and tissue necrosis in people with a C6 to C7 spinal cord injury. So from this hypothesis, we created our investigational device, as you can see here. It's very similar to just a bed that you would have at home, because our intention is that the user would be able to still use this in their own home. We chose about a full-size mattress, which is about 53 inches to 75 by 75 inches. And you can see here with our human model on it, it has 4 linear actuators, one in each corner, and these 4 linear actuators are able to lift the device and able to let it tilt vertically or horizontally. As you can see in the GIF in the right, our device is currently tilting horizontally. So as Hope mentioned before, we wanted to measure pressure on hard bony surfaces. So this would be the shoulder, the lower back, and the heel, which are indicated in the red circles. And to measure these areas, we plan to have pockets of air built into the mattress in which we can measure the pressure from. In these two pictures, you can kind of see how the bed would also tilt vertically. So in order to understand how this bed would work, we created a state diagram. So on the left, you can see kind of the beginning, how the device would begin, in which it would be in a resting state where the bed is flat. If we measure, there's high pressure on the right side, or it's been after 2 to 4 hours, our bed will tilt to the left. And if there's a high pressure on the left side, or it's been after 2 to 4 hours, our bed will tilt to the right. And this process will repeat itself as long as our user needs.
So here you can see our electrical schematic. To the left of the image, you can see 6 pressure sensors. They give information to the Arduino using I2C. The Arduino stores 2 types of information. First is the data received from the pressure sensors, and second, data from timestamps that we coded into the Arduino. When the Arduino either senses that there is a large amount of pressure in any of the areas that we place the pressure sensors on, or that 2 hours have passed, the Arduino then gives signal to the linear actuators through the H-bridge to put them in the desired orientation of the bed.
Like we stated before, our investigational device is based off the current standard of care for pressure relief, and that consists of nurses turning and repositioning patients through a routine schedule every 2 to 4 hours or so. The most common pressure relief positions include the supine, which is just laying on one's back, and this is used to relieve pressure when sitting down for an extended amount of time. The next is known as the semi-flowers position, which consists of elevating both the leg and back head region to relieve pressure in those high-risk bony prominence areas. And then we have the 30-degree lateral turn, which turns the patient on the side, most often with a cushion or pillow to relieve pressure on the back and buttocks area. Support surfaces such as specialized pillows, mattresses, and bedding are also very helpful and common to ensure a soft padded surface for the patients to lay on. So we hope that through the combination of the most common positioning, our device's horizontal and vertical tilting mechanism will allow for a nice redistribution of pressure for our patients. And for the testing methods, we hope to test the efficacy of our device and its ability to redistribute pressure. So our first step of our study would be gathering patients and nurses from a skilled nursing facility. Our next step would be to first implement our device in our control group. And the reason for this is because we want to identify the pressure levels from the nursing care in order to set a safety standard for our testing group. So after we do that, we will then implement into our testing group, and this will just be testing the efficacy of the device comparing to the standard of care. So we have the safety of our patients in the testing group first. So this is why we hope to utilize the safety standard that we set in the control group in order to realize and see if our pressure levels of redistribution are being met. And if those are not being met, we hope to put our testing group back into standard care. And for the broader impact, next slide. Yeah, so for our broader impact, we hope to optimize for the positions and angles that best redistribute the most pressure in order to lower the rates of pressure sore formation. We also hope that our investigational device allows for a freeing up of busy nurse and caregiver routines as the automation of the tilting and turning mechanism will already be in place. Lastly, for future directions, we hope to create a method for manual operation. So say if a patient is aware that they are in a position for an extended amount of time, they don't have to wait for the 2 to 4 hour automated schedule within the device. They can just allow themselves to reposition themselves in any position that they would like. Thank you, and if you have any questions, please let us know.